and my dealership with anything and everything we need, including all the lines of Justice Brothers products and even equipment to perform the various services we may need for our specific application. HIT stands for honesty, integrity, and trust, so you know when you contact Travis, that's exactly what you'll get. That, combined with Justice Brothers supplying superior quality automotive products since the 1940s and 75 years in the racing industry, you will have absolutely everything at your disposal to get the job done. Justice Brothers is proudly made in the USA, and they have a satisfaction guarantee or your money back. Justice Brothers has the best quality products over any other competitor, and they'll gladly tell you that themselves. If you live in the Southern California area, call my man Travis Ferris at 805-208-7818. And if you don't, call him anyway and tell him I said thanks. And visit justicebrothers.com to learn more about their complete line of products. Justice Brothers, America's brand for quality. All right, guys, we made it to another Friday, and you know what that means. Let's go ahead and crack them.
I'm so ready.
Thank you, guys. Thank you. Welcome back to a super special edition of Season 2, Episode 1 of Customer States Podcast. Hashtag Southern Bell.
It's better when I do it.
There you go.
So we have made it. Thank you guys, everybody, for being here again. So once again, this is Customer States Podcast, where we talk about everything in the automotive industry. My name is Mike Serra. 20 years in the automotive industry, senior master technician, shop foreman, transmission technician, wearer of many hats. You know the spiel. To my left is Allie Paul, the warranty administrator, warranty wizard herself.
Hi, Mike. You know what's going on? I'm back from vacation. That's right. Warranty admin of 10, 11-ish years coming up soon. And I feel like a whole new person. And to my left is Jake Rigas.
I feel so relaxed from hearing her talk.
Yeah, I'm also about to fall asleep because I have 2 weeks worth of work to catch up on this week. So.
And about 6 Benadryl.
Yeah.
7.
So, Season 2.
And it's Valium.
Oh, nice.
I am also back from vacation with Allie, and I feel like shit, so there's that. I'm trying to stay awake, but...
Congratulations.
Yeah. It's like, feeling like a big old duffel bag full of shit. If you know, you know. So, my name is Jake Rikas, guys. I've been in the automotive field for a long time, since I was a little kid. I've been a service advisor for about 3+ years, and I'm still here and don't know why. But anyways...
I know why. Mike knows why. Kevin knows why. Money!
It's all about them Benjamins.
To my left, and which unfortunately we'll be seeing less of him, but Kevin, our board masher.
¿Cómo están, bitches?
Just don't
Hey,
even
what's up?
introduce.
Yeah,
Don't even say
I'm
anything
not going to
else.
say shit, but I just gonna say shit. Yeah, my name is Kevin Waters. I'm a festival production lighting and rigging guy, and I don't do much for the automotive industry except for harass it, and I've been doing that for 15 years or so.
Have you enjoyed a rave or a music festival? Well, fuck you, that's because of Kevin.
Yeah.
He invented raves.
If you've gone to a festival in California in the past 6 years, I've been there.
Yeah, or a car show in New York or Chicago or
Anywhere in the United
something.
States, yeah.
So drop a like on his page and send the money to his PayPal.
Oh wait, I'm not online.
Just tip your hat.
Winning.
Yeah,
He's a ghost. So I guess I'll start. What's kind of sad is the people who've been with us and they know about Mr. Ugga Dugga. He's kind of a celebrity
Yeah.
with the podcast. He has been finally laid off.
That's
Wait,
rather
let's pour.
unfortunate.
Let's pour a.
You know,
I'm gonna
Order
pour a
of
shot
Truly
into my
out.
mouth.
There you go.
When you see
Don't
people
let it
say
go to
pouring
waste.
out for the homies, you totally can, right into your mouth.
Mm-hmm.
So Jack, if you are listening to this, man, we will miss you. Like I told you before, everybody makes mistakes. Just unfortunately, you made too many. Anyways, no, Jack. Me and Jack are homies. It's fine.
Okay.
So, long story short, because this was actually when we were on vacation, we stopped by the dealership to totally not pick up our paycheck, and we just wanted to say hi to everybody.
Wait, you got on direct deposit?
I wish, dude. That
joking,
Mom
right?
and pop shop.
That
Mom
costs
and pop shop.
That
extra.
costs money, bruh. So they won't spend it.
Jesus.
Yeah.
Yes.
I think it might be on the horizon, though.
Yeah, there are some changes that we see coming in the
There was
future.
actually a point where we couldn't even mobily deposit
Nope.
our checks because,
They weren't accepted.
yeah, the checks actually cost more to have the certain, like, bracketing to be accepted
Yep.
by mobile deposit.
Yeah, so 50.
So the more you know.
Dude,
Where's that sad trombone again?
Dude, we could dig into this for hours, and it's just gonna, people listening on the other side are just like,
So you get
yeah.
nothing.
Literally.
so, Jack, Mr. Uggadugga, when we came to the dealership during whatever day it was, towards the end of the vacation that me and Allie took, we walk in, I'm like, so, what's going on, guys? Talked with the techs, saw how things were going, how busy it was, blah, blah, blah. And they look at me and they're like, you heard that Jack got fired, right? I'm like, no, I didn't. So, story goes, started off as a regular routine service, oil change, tire rotation. He does the oil change, allegedly, puts everything back together the way he's supposed to.
Allegedly.
Exactly, air quotes. And what really happened was, at some point during this, he had forgotten to put new oil in, put on a new oil filter, or put the drain plug in. And the car was test driven, and no noise came of it.
Ooh.
Yeah, so test driven, no noise came of it whatsoever, no knock, no nothing. Park the car, send it to get washed, still no noise. Park it again, customer picks it up, leaves. Like, I don't know, from what it sounds like, 30, 45 minutes this guy drove it, just doing his normal, everyday, go to the store, go home, whatever the case.
Yeah, yeah.
He calls, irate, apparently, and goes, my car sounds like shit. So, brings it back in, they lift it up into the air.
He drives it in.
He drives it in.
Okay.
He drives it in. It's already effed. So we lift it up in the air, and lo and behold, all those parts that I said were missing and the oil are just
Wait, so
dull
he
and void.
drained the oil,
Yeah,
but never
yes.
put oil back in.
Yes, he got. Thank you, Hank Hill. We got 20. We got 25, or he got 25% into the job, and then kind of just brain fart. So when we got it in the air and realized nothing was there, engine was tossed. It's like, we put oil into it, and we're like, well, maybe if we run it, it'll just quiet down, it should be fine. Tossed. So before this customer even came back, Jack was, or when they got the phone call that this was happening to the dude's car, Jack decides to go, you know what, screw this place, I'm out, and walks.
Oh.
Inconceivable.
And keep in mind, this
Is
is,
it
and keep in mind, this is also when our manager is also on a break. He had some
Leave.
on leave, exactly. He had some family stuff he had to take care of. So I have warned him multiple times that you can't. He was known for he'd get flustered because of a mistake and he'd walk off and like, screw this place, I'm done. Our old manager was a really nice guy. It's like he realized he made mistakes, but it was never anything too big that it would cause him to be like, okay, you're done.
Right.
It was just multiple occasions. So our old boss, he kind of was like, okay, that's fine. If you need to go get some air, you're good. I warned Jack multiple times. I'm like, dude, you got new management. If you're going to pull these stupid games where you go, F this place, I'm out, and walk, you're going to come back one of these times and they're going to call your bluff.
Your job's not going to be there.
Exactly. So this is what happened. He walked off, came back after being on, I made a mistake. I gave, had time to clear my head. And this was after the manager had been, told, hey, engine's on us. All $5,000 is on us. And sure enough,
Yeah.
deuces. They're like, sorry, man, we got to lay you off.
Yeah.
Too many mistakes. You walking off on your own accord and then coming back like, oh, I'm sorry, I didn't mean it. It's not going to work.
That's abandonment.
Yeah, so...
Yeah, you abandon your position, your
Yeah,
post.
so
yeah.
I told
Cannot
him
do that.
and when he
Do not come.
when I came to
Do not leave.
to not leave, when I got to the dealership,
leave.
he had already walked back from his cool down, whatever you want to call it, and he sees me walking into
This
the
was
parts
all on the same
department.
day?
All same day.
Walked off.
Correct. All same day. And he looks at him like, what's going on, man? He's like, some stuff happened. I'm like, yeah, I heard. And I told him, I'm like, Jack, mistakes happen. I get that. This is a little bit more than a mistake. It's like, I understand we're all human, but for you to call yourself a tech and to do something like this and to cause this much of catastrophic damage, you gotta straighten yourself up, man. I'm like, you can't let it get you down. I realize that this is bigger than what generally happens to you, but I'm like, man, you need to step back, really look at this. And I told him, I'm like, I don't know what's going to happen from this point, man. Because he's like, well, what should I do? I'm like, I don't know, man. It's like you've got this to look at. You walked off. The manager's not here. People are calling and telling them what you did. I'm like, you kind of got to keep your fingers crossed and hope, man. But I'm like, whatever happens, move on.
Well, geez, Lemony Snickets, what a series of unfortunate
Unfortunate events.
yeah, that's
Wow.
pretty
Man,
bad.
nothing is fucked here.
It's fucked.
Everything is.
So the legend of the Ugga Dugga has now come and gone. It's like the Wendigo and the Yeti.
No, I
you know it
disagree.
exists, but it's been lost in translation.
I disagree. I think there's a future for Mr. Ugga Dugga.
Of course there is.
Somewhere.
In a van down by the river, eating a steady supply of government cheese. Speaking of which, Joe did that whole thing with Van Dyne by the river. Where he did the pants
messed it
twist.
up. So he was doing like I'm moving my arms side to side, and I was like, "What are you doing?" And he's like,
He's doing the hey there, Jack.
Exactly.
No, but
I
he-
heard you're not using your papers to write stories, but to roll doobies.
in a motorhome down by the lake or something. I was like, "That's not how it goes."
It's like the bootleg DVDs you buy out of somebody's trunk. Instead of Shrek 2, it's like Green Man plus Donkey.
Mexican subtitles. Someone gets it during the movie.
God, that's funny. Mikey Boy, from what we talked about, what is a 6R80?
Okay, so the 6R80 is the name of a transmission. It's a 6-speed rear-wheel drive transmission that's popular in our Ford motor vehicles, such as almost everything.
such as,
Them all.
look at the sky, all of them.
What's the 80 for?
80 is the number of Newton meters that the transmission can.
Wonderful.
Yeah. it's basically how strong the transmission is. Anyway.
Okay. It's torque stuff.
Yes.
Allie, did you know that as the number gets smaller, it's more powerful?
Yes.
False. No, wrong.
Incorrect. Do not come.
Okay, so I had this customer that came in, and he has a 2015 F-150. And the story goes that he had some codes in the transmission and told him to replace a sensor in the transmission. So he had his mechanic replace the sensor in the transmission, and then the check engine light came on, and the vehicle wouldn't shift at times, and it wouldn't start at times, and like all this other stuff. So he brings it into the dealership for me to take a look at after the fact. So lo and behold, it's got a bunch of electrical DTCs for the transmission, right? And so I go do my more detailed visual inspection, and I realize that the electrical connector that connects all of the electronics to the transmission, like so from the vehicle to the transmission,
Okay.
all of that wiring connector is not seated all the way onto the plug. It's
That's good, right?
Yeah, it's a twist lock connector, and it's not seated all the way onto the transmission. But the problem is that the twist lock connector is in its final lock position, but in my experience, I can tell that's too far away from the transmission body itself, which means that the bulkhead sleeve connector that it goes through into the transmission is not installed properly. So whoever so whoever he had installed this component didn't do it properly, and this is the cause of the thing.
Right.
So for 2 days,
That's covered under warranty, right?
no, absolutely not. So for 2 days, and he does have, because it's a fleet vehicle, so he has a crazy aftermarket, or he has a crazy
Extended warranty.
Ford, extended warranty.
Okay.
And so the service writer, the first thing he asked me is like, how is this not covered under his warranty? I said, well, Ford didn't install this part that his mechanic installed improperly.
You know when you buy a new electronic device and it's got that sticker that covers the one screw that opens it up and it says, if seal broken, warranty is void. You broke the seal.
Yeah, you don't ever break the seal. So anyway, for 2 days,
See a lot.
yeah,
That's a pee joke. I like that.
we're not quite at a pee break yet.
A liter of cola.
So for 2 days, we're trying to contact this guy and tell him, hey, this is the issue. We need to start from here because the transmission is not receiving full proper power and ground and signals, all that kind of stuff. We don't know anything until we fix this issue. So after 2 days, the guy says, all he says is, well, if you can guarantee it'll fix the problem, then let's move forward. So
But that's not how this works.
that's not how this works at all.
You know that.
Well,
Hey guys, did you know that's not how this works?
It's not how this
So
works.
so he's a technician himself,
Of
right?
course.
Okay. So he calls in and he wants to talk to the service advisor and say, well, I just don't understand how this is possible. I had my guy install the part. What are you trying to tell me that he didn't install an electrical connector properly?
You want to know what's funny about that? Just not to jump in, but how people who are always like, "Oh, I'm a tech myself," excuse me.
They never are.
Well, not only that, but it's like, why aren't you talking to the tech then, bro? It's like,
Why
hey,
didn't
I
you
mean,
do it yourself. Well, you did, and you did it wrong. No, gee, weird.
right? It's like, well, I'm going to
And here
talk to
you
the
are.
service advisor because the tech scares me.
Well,
Yeah, because he knows
He'll
what's
call my-
really
so he'll
going
call me on my
so
shit.
not only as the shop foreman, but as the actual technician that's working on his vehicle, we can only get so far. So I call the customer myself, and I introduce myself. Hi, this is Mike Serra from blah blah blah, and I'm working on your vehicle. This is what's going on with it. Well, if you think your tech knows what he's doing and can guarantee that it'll fix it, I just don't understand. My guy, installed the thing, and we know everything about it. And I said, well, actually, you're speaking to the technician who diagnosed your vehicle, and I am the shop foreman. I give him all my accolades, and I tell him this is what's the problem. And you're familiar with your vehicle, correct? Yes. Okay. Well, the bulkhead connector, sleeve connector needs to be so far, blah blah. You have it. It's not, the sleeve is not installed properly. I need to start from here because the transmission is not getting the electrical connections properly.
Yep.
Okay. So his attitude changes completely.
Oh damn.
180 degrees, bass backwards, and now he's, thank you so much for explaining it to me. Yeah, I got to talk with the guy. I just didn't understand what's going on. And he's trying to spout that he was the person that did it, but it was actually somebody else that did it.
Right.
And I mean,
What does the customer get out of that? Like pretending that
You'll get nothing.
yeah. I mean, essentially, they're either trying to get something for free or save face is what I feel like. And again, I'm not trying to be
Dude, you are so right with that. It's like, it's feeling the room. It's like, well, I'm going to try the pissed off approach. Now I'm going to try the listening approach. Now I'm going to try the, oh my God, you're a savior approach. It's the way that customers are. I mean,
yeah,
it's
some
how it is.
customers, I'm
I
sure.
mean, as simply as I can put it, I guess off the top of my head, it's like if you buy fish at the store and you bring it home and store it on your counter for a week and then want to eat the fish, it's probably not going to be good anymore.
Right, and then
do that.
it's like you going back to the person you bought from, why the hell is this fish bad?
Yeah. Or is it the fish's problem? Just think about what's going on. here.
Is it the fucking fish's problem?
Yeah, no. This is a you thing. It's not a me thing. I'm here trying to help you. I can only. And so the best part of this was, and I'm telling the guy over the phone because I'm talking to him on the phone, and so I tell him, I said, I can guarantee that I can fix the mistake that your mechanic made.
Right.
But I can't guarantee that there's not other mistakes that were made. So I need to start with this first, fix this first mistake to see if there's anything else wrong with it.
Right.
So, it's make this repair and then retest for any other abnormal conditions. I don't know
60%
what's
of the
going
time,
on.
it works.
Yeah, I don't know what's
Every
going
time.
on until I can get the transmission communicating with the computer. I need to have the
Yeah.
electrical parts working.
Yeah, that's kind of important.
Yeah, so I mean, it was just kind of, I love that part of my job about talking with customers and, not only, educating them and working them through hard spots, but sometimes you get the chance to feel vindicated in that.
Yeah, sure, of
that
course.
way. Man, I was actually able to help this person and help them understand our point of view.
Right.
And really what I'm all about as far as fixing your vehicle with no BS.
Yeah.
And
I got to say, that's what I appreciate about you.
That is what we appreciate about you. and
the one honest tech doing his job.
I was speaking of honest tech. I was talking to one of my techs today. I'm like, you know how we do the podcast, right, man? He's like, yeah, of course I do. I'm like, you do know that everybody knows about your secret ingredient, the juice of an orange, right? And
juice of an orange.
The juice, the secret ingredient is the juice of an orange. And he looked at me and he's all like, really? I'm like, dude, you need to listen. It's all like, people love that whole segment. And I'm like, by the way, when are you going to make me fucking chicharrones? Homemade. That's where the secret
carne
ingredient
or
comes
no?
from. Oh, yeah, yes. It's
The juice of an orange.
con carne. Yes,
The best
it
kind.
definitely has the meat on it.
Thank you for joining us on our Chicharrones podcast.
I'm gonna come.
We've got cars, we've got hats, we've got food.
Honestly, if you want bomb chicharrones, you gotta go visit El Rancho
Oh my
Taco
God,
Shop
what a
in
drop.
Lake Elsinore. No, I'm not kidding.
What's up?
Ray,
We
Are they
know.
are they just chicharrones or are they chicharrones con carne?
so
Do they have meat on them or no?
Yes. Oh, yeah.
They do?
Ray's got big old fat bacon
yes.
sticks, like
Yeah.
things. Oh
Yes.
my God, so good.
By the way, if you
That was the first thing that was brought out, even before the chips.
I'm-
Let me tell you,
I'm
it's
gonna get-
amazing.
Kind of like pig chips.
yeah, I'm going to get real personal here. If you're ever backed up and you really just
Oh
need
my
to take
god,
a poop,
no.
Diarrhea.
you just need to go have yourself some chicharron con carne, man, because it'll clean you up real quick.
I did not experience any digestive problems.
Oh, it's not
El
that-
Rancho Taco Shop.
Oh, it's not it's not digestive problems. It's just all the beautiful grease just coating everything for you.
I'm so glad we had this talk.
Hey, you know what?
Sometimes maybe good, sometimes maybe shit.
And usually you get shit.
Okay, ducky.
I'm comfortable in my own body, thank you very much.
And the things that come out of your body, apparently, as well.
So, I had
Shitty note.
I had another very interesting thing happen to me, and this is actually while we were on break last week.
Wobble, wobble, wobble.
Oh, what?
Some a bit of the little wobblies.
Wow, that was suggestive.
Yeah, there's little wobbles going on. So
Wait.
I had the service advisor came up to me when I was coming back from my lunch break, and they say we have a customer that wants to talk to the shop foreman, and he's got this death wobble concern. And so automatically I'm thinking, oh my goodness, it's a F-Series truck, Super Duty truck with the death wobble thing that everybody talks about because they saw the YouTube video and they think that their truck has it.
So I don't know about that. Do you
Okay,
want to
so-
do like a brief?
Breaking news at 8 o'clock. Mike with death wobble.
So, death wobble in obvious quotation marks is a condition where in certain Super Duty trucks, if you're driving over a bumpy road or hit a bump in the road, usually at freeway speeds, the steering wheel may shake uncontrollably out of your hands until you slow down and pull over and come to a stop and then start back up again. It is I have never experienced it myself.
Is that due to power steering failure?
No. I mean, it has to do with the power steering, but it's not power steering failure. There's a lot of factors that go into this.
In
It's-
layman's terms, I guess.
there's I mean, it has to do with the steering system.
Gotcha.
And suspension in the front end. There's many factors that can go into this, but the first fix is that they have is to replace the steering damper. Anyway,
So it's a real thing, though.
it is a real thing, but I've
It's like
never
the Wendigo and the Yeti, man.
for all of the people that have experienced it, and I've gone on road tests with customers on the exact same spot on the freeway that we all know that has a certain bump in it, blah blah blah. I've never experienced it. Customers never been able to duplicate it with me. So I mean, I've seen it happen in videos, but
And Allie, do you know where that comes from? When customers come in and they say, hey, I have death wobble?
Yes.
YouTube
Oh.
or forum facts, which are not facts.
those are not facts. If you Google a cough, you're gonna end up having cancer.
Yeah.
Which is,
You know
Throat
how
cancer.
you know how when you wrote a paper when you were in school and the teachers would not let you use Wikipedia?
Yes.
Well, forums are basically the Wikipedia of the mechanics world. It's like this is not a place you are allowed to cite your work.
Okay, so anyway, the service advisor gives me a phone number, and I call the customer, introduce myself, and trying to figure out what's going on. And so he's telling me, he did some research, and he thinks he has the death wobble. I'm like, like what your Super Duty do you have? He's like, I don't have. It's a 16 Edge or something like that. I'm like, what do you mean? Like, so the death wobble is specific for the Super Duties. Oh no, it's the same thing. As soon as it hits a bump, the steering wheel just shakes uncontrollably, and the car darts left and right. I'm like, okay, what are the conditions that happens, and blah blah blah. And he's like, well, I'm not able to like come in. I'm currently traveling across the country, but I just wanted to, talk it out with somebody and, see what was going on, see if I could have any local fixes or anything for it. I said, well, honestly, this is all hypothetical without actually seeing the vehicle or driving it or anything like that. He's like, well, you don't have to drive the vehicle. I said,
Wait.
what? Yeah, I said, what do you mean you don't have to drive the vehicle to get the steering wheel to dart out of your hands uncontrollably and cause you to lose control of the road?
I think about it real hard.
So here's
So he's telling you that this is happening like at idle? Is
so
that
here's the M. Night Shyamalan twist.
What the twist?
what a twist?
When he's towing it behind his RV,
I could hear the wobble.
he can see it in his mirror that the car is darting back and forth.
Wait, but that's like a physics thing.
And it only happens during certain times. And it didn't happen with his old RV, but it happens with the new RV. And he's wondering if there's something wrong with the vehicle.
Sure.
Not the RV or the trailer or however he has this connected to the...
So as Earl Ramsey would say, after a slightly less shit flip that I have quietly to myself,
Hi, Earl.
after realizing what's going on, I say,
You don't have a satisfying yank or wank.
Yeah, have a satisfying wake.
I tell him, well, I mean, honestly, this is a horse of a different color, and I have never heard of this before. No one's ever complained. And then he's trying to tell me, well, I read on the forums that some people, some people tie bungee cords around the seats and do this, that, and the other. I said, well,
Wait.
I can't advise it about any of that. And then I proceed to ask him, like, what sort of device do you have that ties it up? What are the angles? Blah, blah, like all these technical things. He's like, well, I don't really know. I said, listen, I cannot move any more. I can't not tell you any more useful information until I see what's going on. But this is definitely wild. So please, if you can't get resolved on your own, come back and see me, because this is a wild one.
Nice.
Everything you're doing is bad.
Death wobble, straight to jail. Not know how to tow your car, straight to jail.
Well, but isn't it like a physics thing of like when you're towing a vehicle, like if there's any...
You were paying attention to that Facebook video I showed you.
Yeah, like
It
if
is
anything
absolutely-
happens
oh,
to the
the treadmill
edge,
one?
like
Yep,
it's
yep.
like
Super simple, but I mean, exactly what's
yeah,
happening.
do you like the only way I can explain it is
Weight distribution in the proper spots while towing will cause either bad or very good.
So he started asking me like super technical questions. He's like, yeah, the only thing that would change is that in the workshop or in the installation manual for the tow behind trailer hitch thing, it says to disconnect the negative cable, but we put a disconnect on the positive cable instead of the negative cable, so that's how we're doing it. And I said, well, I guess theoretically, if you're towing it with all four wheels on the ground and like the fan is spinning and creating, energy, because it's just like an alternator,
Right.
It's reversed,
Okay.
right? Instead of an electric motor, it becomes an alternator. Same thing with wheel speed sensors. The wheel speed sensors generate current, AC current. So you could have bleed through from those things if you don't disconnect the ground from it. So I said, you might want to try on your way back to us, disconnecting the ground, like it says. I said, I cannot tell you that that's an actual thing, but electronically it makes sense.
Good place to start.
Yeah, I said, I wouldn't, recommend, zip tying your steering wheel in place, but,
And that whole instruction thing, it's like I know the general consensus of it all is guys don't like to read instructions. Sometimes it is okay to read instruction.
Well, he had basically said,
When you are putting together IKEA furniture, make sure you read instructions.
he had basically said, like, to make it easier for us to, like, disconnect the thing while we're towing it, we just put it on the power side. I'm like, I can't tell you one way or the other, but I would have put it on the negative side. Just
Right.
to disconnect the ground from
I'm
the
not
system.
here to tell you you're wrong, but
I would have followed the instructions in this instance.
Well, especially if it's something you've never used before, like you're gonna at least want to do it right the first time. So if you do it differently the next time, you know what's going on.
Right.
It's like when you make a recipe, you always follow the recipe to the T the first time.
I
and
don't
then
have
you know
baking
what
soda.
to
Let's use
add.
soy sauce.
It's not the same.
Next time.
Sometimes these procedures are there for a reason.
Yeah, don't become a meme.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Speaking of memes, thank you, Jacob. That was very nice of you.
You're welcome.
Okay.
What
Wait,
is a
but wait before we before we start with that meme thing. You saw that people wanted the original fucking electricity meme. You should have listened to me.
Okay, so-
I just